Lawmakers in the U.S. state of Alabama have approved the country's toughest abortion law. The state Senate voted 25-6 to outlaw abortion at any stage of pregnancy, even if that pregnancy resulted from incest or rape. It would also send doctors who perform abortion to prison for life. Outside the legislature, women's groups protested the bill. It will now go to the state governor for her approval. Now, the minority Democrats denounced the law, but the majority Republicans supported it, and they say they want this bill to end up in the U.S.'s top court so that it will rule on whether abortion is legal.
Hopefully get to the Supreme Court and have them revisit the actual decision, which was, is the baby in a womb a person?
But why you all want to control our bodies, I will never ever know.
Our reporter Peter Dahl has been looking into this story for us and joins us in our studio. Thanks, Peter. So we've seen that Alabama lawmakers have now passed this into law. It'll now land on the governor's desk. What's going to happen next?
Right. The governor has said that she'll not sign anything before she's seen the full bill, but she's known as a strongly religious and staunchly conservative Republican. In fact, it was one of her central issues when she ran for governor. At the time, she said, "I believe every life is precious. As a pro-life governor, I'll always fight to protect the unborn." And she does have the backing of a majority of Alabamans. Just last November, voters voted overwhelmingly to amend their state constitution to recognize the rights of the unborn, to ban funding for abortion. 59% voted in favor of that amendment.
All right, so the majority of Alabamans stand behind her, but we should say this is still very controversial. There was a very heated debate on the floor of the state legislature in Alabama, and on top of that, we've seen a big backlash across the U.S., a controversy online as well. Tell us about that.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, this has long been a hugely divisive issue, and it's become increasingly along partisan lines. Democrats, including several prominent presidential candidates, basically lined up to denounce this bill, saying they'll not let this stand. And it is all but certain to go to the courts. Just moments after the bill was passed, the civil liberties organization, the ACLU, tweeted, "Abortion is not a crime, it's a constitutional right. We'll sue to stop this law from ever taking effect." And that wouldn't be the first time that the ACLU has battled Alabama in court. In 2016, the state had to pay the ACLU $1.7 million when it was challenged over another attempt to restrict abortions, and that was struck down by federal courts.
All right, Peter, put this into context for us, because this is not just about Alabama. It is the latest in a series of states that have passed legislation to restrict abortion. So what are we looking at? What's happening, and where is this headed?
Right. I mean, just last week, Georgia became the fourth state this year to pass a so-called heartbeat bill. That bans abortions after 6 weeks, which is when doctors can generally detect the fetus's heartbeat. Up until now, such bills have been successfully struck down, and that's because abortion is a constitutional right. That has to do with the landmark 1973 Supreme Court case Roe v. Wade, which guaranteed the right to abortion in the United States. But Republicans now believe that they have a chance to overturn that law. That's because the balance on the Supreme Court has shifted since President Donald Trump became president. He's had the rare opportunity to appoint two judges, Neil Gorsuch and Brett Kavanaugh, both of whom have been known to come out and speak critically about Roe v. Wade. So Republicans' calculus now is that they'll push as many of these anti-abortion laws as possible, hoping they'll get challenged or almost expecting they'll get challenged. That will then eventually end up in front of the Supreme Court, where they then hope they now have the support to have abortion overturned.
All right, our reporter Peter Dahl following this story for us. Thank you so much, Peter.
Thank you so much.